You're listening to Burn Rate and Bullshit,
the show where founders, suits, and corporate clowns all get called the fuck out.
We're Josh Robinson and Mike Nathan, entrepreneurs turned VCs.
With zero filters and strong opinions and a bullshit detector set to high.
Welcome to the only business podcast that actually tells it like it is.
I'm a desperate man. Send lawyers, guns, and money. This shit has hit the fan.
Consultants are the only ones getting rich from corporate transformation. They'll sell you a 5-step process for innovation, then bounce, leaving you with a bill, a deck, and the same broken business. If consultants fixed even half of what they promised, every company in America would be a world beater by now.
Meanwhile, real hustlers are dropping off your groceries and coding your app for $8 an hour.
Let's torch the two extremes.
So we're talking about consultants, advisors, gig workers. Before you get into the sucky, overpriced...
Well, I fucking hate consultants.
Yeah. Let's get that out there. Why?
Well,
give us the executive summary.
Personal experience. So to be clear, you have to segment consultants, in my mind. There's the big dogs, management consultants that are not rolling up the sleeves and doing work alongside you or alongside your team.
The Bain, the McKinsey.
Deloitte, McKinsey, all the names that everyone knows. There's that bucket. That's largely the population. When I say I can't fucking stand consultants, that's the population that I'm in reference to. There's other consultants, which could come from those bigger firms, they tend not to, that are not only giving advice to you or your team on an area of expertise, they're oftentimes helping do the work.
Yeah.
And that, to me, if you get the right person there, that can be really impactful consulting that really moves your organization along. And then you have advisors, and then you have, I don't even say we could lump mentors into this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Be curious on your thoughts, how you think of those segments and where you plug each of those kind of talent pools into a company, if at all.
So the way I would think about it, I don't have as much experience as you do with like the big high-end consultant folks, but I think my opinion is very similar. I do have a really strong opinion on advisors and mentors, and I think that the high-end consultants are probably for that larger company that has lots of depth and breadth to their offering and their organization, and they probably need a refresher, some other people to kind of rattle their cage. And the smaller companies, I break this down into the founder, senior team, into the company as a whole. So I think advisors and mentors are an absolute requirement for people that want to do something as early stage founders, especially if you're a first-time founder, right? Yeah. How much shit don't you know as a first-time founder? You're not prepared from an operational standpoint. You're really not prepared from a mental or emotional standpoint about everything that's going to go wrong. That's where I think the mentor...
And shit's going to go wrong.
It's going to go really wrong. And you're going to want to how the fuck can I be this dumb? Is this over? And then you're going to have an advisor kind of, hey, Jimmy, guess what happened when I did this? I damn near lost the company doing this. And oh, I'm not the biggest dumb shit in the room yet.
Well, you might be, but not for this particular set of reasons.
For this case. Yeah. So when I think about it that way, bringing even a paid advisor from and again, select this person wisely. How many have they started? If they just did the one, they did a couple, 3. They've been an angel investor. They've been part of some VC investing. That's the sort of person you want to engage with, who's going to be able to walk you through the economics, the psychological, and the imperfectness, can I say that? The imperfection of an early stage startup. It's all going to look sloppy and messy and nothing's going to be coordinated.
Do you always pay them?
Not always, no. But I think it's okay to. If you're seeking out an advisor.
Do you give them equity or do you give them cash? How do you pay them?
Depending on the situation, but I'm not afraid for the right advisor to pay them cash, to give them equity, to... And a lot of advisors, even depending on how much time you take it, they might do it for free.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't like free advice that much, but I'd rather give some equity and or cash.
Or if you're bootstrapped, you may not have the cash.
That's right. That's why.
Well, the reason I asked, a lot of founders, I think equity, you don't have to give a ton.
No,
right?
something.
And I think a lot of founders really try to keep that pie not divvied up, especially early on, and that might be at their own peril. Would you agree with that? I mean, if you've got the right advisor that can do it for 0.5% of equity,
so we're not talking 10, 15%. We're talking 8%.
Right.
If you really, really like them and they're really crucial and they built something similar to you, but 5 years before, then maybe you could go beyond that. But you're not talking. I think you want to be asking the question, make it meaningful for the advisor, the mentor, and two, how much time are you going to require them? Like, hey, I need you to spend a 2-hour meeting with me every week. Yeah, you need to put up a little more equity.
Right.
If you're saying, hey, I want a coffee with you every month to walk through things, that's obviously considerably less. But if you're going to ask an advisor or someone to mentor you along that path, which you should, big advocate of it. It's just a cheaper price of tuition of all the hard knock lessons.
Hard knocks,
yeah. But if you're going to do it, you need to offer them something, and you don't need not just one. You can offer to a couple.
I was just going to ask you that. How many do you need?
I wouldn't go more than one. I wouldn't go more than 3. If you did 1, you're probably fine, but you're okay to do 2.
Yeah,
you're okay to do 3. If you get more than 3. I wonder what's rattling around in your head. Like, do you not know what the fuck you're doing?
Yeah.
Do you not have a sense
or you end up getting too much advice that's different from one another? And it's like, well, which fucking way do I go?
How many times have we asked, hey, let's go around the room. What do you think? You go east, you go north, you go south. You get 4 different versions of what you should be going.
Yeah, you ask 5 people, you get 10 answers.
Too many cooks in the kitchen? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah.
No. So it's okay to have more than 1. I would not do more than 3. I mean, unless you're really fucking confused and you don't know what you're doing. But I don't think that's likely
Maybe
the
you
case.
ask yourself a different question. Right? Should I even be doing this?
Should I be doing this if I need 17 advisors?
Yeah.
Who's my advisor on opening up my email today? How do I do it? Which email should I answer first?
So is it typically advisor around, hey, I'm new to starting a company, going to give me the breadth of what a startup, what a founder looks like? Is it finding an advisor that goes really deep on a particular area of like a gap that you've identified in yourself or in the team?
So I think that's why you want more than 1.
Yeah.
I think you need to have product, service, expert guy or gal. If let's say you're going into whiskey, you want to make sure you've got a person who's got all sorts of whiskey business experience, knows connections, knows people, understands it intimately. Mm-hmm. I think there's another role for an advisor to the CEO and the senior management. That's the priest, the therapist, the best friend, the big brother, right? Yeah. Kind of that real emotional and personal connection, because you need both for what we just talked about. You want the product, the subject matter is what I want to say, the subject matter expert, and you want the person you can just bitch to.
Yeah.
Or complain to, or worry to.
So this advisor group, this is different than your board.
100%.
These are different people.
Your board is they've talking about governance, and this is about maximizing the stakeholders' value. It's a good call out. I think advisors and mentors are for the CEO, the founder, senior team. Mm-hmm. Consultants, as we're talking about, they're for the whole company. They're like probably linked to the board more than advisors and mentors are. Sure. And so there's that difference. So I do think, I'll just go back to this. I do think the emotional roller coaster, the hard lessons you need to go through as a founder and senior management of a new startup, you need to confess to somebody. Like, I am fucking the dog right now. I cannot believe how bad this is going. Mm-hmm. And they're going to tell you, toughen up, buttercup. You got to keep going. Or, hey, I've been there. Yeah. Whatever that relationship's like, because it's going to be hard and you're going to want to quit. Or you're going to feel really inadequate.
And you can't have that conversation with your board.
You can't have that conversation with your board. Or even with your senior management. Like, what if, companies we've been a part of, I'm like, hey guys, I'm completely lost. I don't know what the fuck to do next.
Yep. That's a great thing to hear from your founder and CEO.
Yeah, founder CEO. He's fucking lost.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be. I mean, that's just the cold reality at times. And so if you can reach out to mentors and advisors that know that space, it's really a net for the whole company. Period. So I would absolutely go with, they're like Sherpas, right? You bring with a ton of people to get you to the top of the hill. Not that I've ever climbed a mountain.
Yeah, I was going to say, you do a lot of mountaineering?
Not a lot of mountain climbing.
All right, so advisors, mentors, good, great. Everyone should get some. Consultants, awful.
Well, consultants, so let me be a little douchey. Why do you think consultants are bad? Because they do come up with great ideas and they do expose some of your sort of your blindness to something you're not thinking about. Sure, they're expensive, but don't they add value?
No. No.
Expand, please.
Next question. So what I love...
Or do you have any experience? I'll give you an example of
I do have experience both just in my own career. I've had experience from just seeing consultants work well and not well in companies from arm's length. What I love about advisors and mentors is the flip side of that is what I hate about most consultants. And that is advisors, if you're finding the right ones, are the ones that have done it. They've got the experience of building something, tearing something down, making it new again, doing a complete pivot. You thought you were making a product A, it turns out you made product Z that actually had market fit. They've done that. Most consultants haven't done fucking shit ever in their career.
But they sell you on the big project. Oh, I've been here.
Right, they're not even selling you something usually that's unique to your business. They're going and grabbing it off the shelf, taking out, the placeholder for the business name and putting in your company's name.
They go grab the regression model from the year before. And
it's just, and is there something there? Maybe there's something there. But I always get a lot of shit because I'm really vocal. I fucking hate Simon Sinek and Brene Brown. If someone
fucking loves Simon Sinek,
shut up.
We're gonna fight. Someone
reposts something of theirs on LinkedIn, I immediately unfollow that asshole. Neither of those two have ever done anything. They've been.
Well, Simon Sinek has had the best YouTube, the most watched YouTube video in the world outside.
It's because he talks funny and everyone loves an accent. They've not done anything.
Yeah,
and so they may have some really well crafted quips that stick in the back of your brain, but it's very rarely is there a lot of practicality to what you get from consultants. Again, the bigger management consultant type operations, the mid-size, more boutique, maybe the independent operator that has done a lot in their career. Usually if you find, a person of our vintage that is, doing the solopreneur consulting, it usually means they're in between gigs.
Yep.
and they're just looking for the next thing. So be cautious about that crew that they're really going to be committed to your company. But that type of consultant that, similar to an advisor, has done something similar, has been in the trenches, is going to be the person that is going to drive the most value for you as a company.
So I want to go back to something you said about consultants around, hey, they don't have the experience. I got into this weird back and forth, and I think this is the difference between advisors and consultants maybe. You know how you post something on LinkedIn and then somebody has just to be contrarian, I'm going to give you this view. I'm like, yeah, okay, I can see your point. That's great. And then they come back and they want to fight you on this. I had one of these around ideas are worthless unless you can execute on them. To which he retorts, yeah, but great ideas need to exist for you to execute on anything. Good point. But what I'm saying is they can lay, hollow if nobody ever picks it up and does it. But what I'm seeing here is there is a consultant comes in, gives you a brilliant idea and flies the fuck out of there.
Yep.
Hey, you know what you do? One word, Josh, plastics, and then leaves, right? Someone's got to implement on that, right? Yeah. Someone's got to go execute against that idea. And this is what I'm thinking, a lot of this distinction with why are consultants worthless, or the ones that are worthless. They give you the idea and walk the fuck out. Mm-hmm. They don't show you how to implement. They don't, exactly. what's the importance of it, et cetera.
Yep. And oftentimes, if you don't have the know-how, skill set, people power, whatever the deficiency is, if you don't have that, to come up with the idea. You likely don't have that to implement it.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes when you've got these, shit angels come in, they fly in, throw a bunch of shit around, and they fly away again. You don't see movement, or you don't see enough movement in these companies to make a difference. And that's
given the board hope, though. The board's like, oh, so excited, we've got a new idea.
The board off your ass for another
quarter
or two. Yeah. Which maybe that's enough.
That's a benefit at times.
Right. Maybe honestly, that could be the value that you as the CEO, you as the management team need to get out of it.
Or you leverage that to the board. Like, my board's not being reasonable here. I'm going to hire these dumb shits to give me a shit angel.
Yeah.
And hey, see, they're saying the same thing we are, or this is the point I'm trying to make, board. It's not as easy as you think.
Yeah.
So we've got advisors, mentors, consultants, higher end, sometimes lofty, really experienced. What about functionality around the gig workers, the gig economy, that pool of resources in your company? How do you think about implementing that?
So I'm in the tank for gig work. I love it. As a business owner, as an investor, as a board member, there is real value out there for, I would say, most companies, especially smaller companies. There's a ton of value for gig work. And not because it's a lower cost play. It can be. It's not always. What I love most about it is you can find virtually any set of skills and expertise that you need. I mean, very niche. I mean, you can really niche that down. And it's a skill, it's a resource you can turn on and off. It's not a $100,000 a month retainer to Deloitte or to McKinsey.
Right.
And that $100,000, that's laughable, right? Those fuckers don't hop out of bed for less than $500,000.
No.
So
those hit snooze.
But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
It's a pay-as-you-go, pay-as-you-get value type of proposition. I love it.
That's the thing I love the most about it, because it's like before we were married, we were all dating. You can date them as long as you want. Mm-hmm. You can not call them for 3 months and call them, after that and say, hey, come in and do a job for me or something, right? So I love. Well,
we used gig work for our logo. Here at Burn Rate and Bullshit. We didn't need a full-time graphic designer. We needed someone for a couple hours to come up with a logo.
And I think 10 years ago, that was less of a thing, right? 20 years ago was almost unheard of. Now, you're silly to hire, do you hire a staff accountant anymore? Or do you hire a bookkeeping agency to come do end of month, right? As an example. The gig economy to me is, it gives what most founders, especially early stage startup companies, is that being nimble, being flexible, start and stop, as you say. Yeah. Even if it might be slightly more expensive than a full-time person, but I don't have all the expenses.
That's a unit level.
Yeah.
In totality, it's
but I don't have that full obligation to go around. Then I got to fire somebody if I don't need him anymore, or lay him off, etc.
Benefits.
And the gig folks like that, even I don't want to be here with you dumb shits. Right. I'm going to come do my thing, pay me my money, and then I'm out of here. So I think and you, to your point, you will find more talent than you'd ever imagined, prepared to, willing to, want to work for certain set of hours, very small scope of work, and then be done. I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to go golfing. I'm going to take out of here I'm going to spend time with my kids, whatever you're going to go do. There's really good talent.
I think a lot of people hear the term gig economy or gig work, and they immediately assume that means task rabbit. Someone's going to come set up my IKEA.
Yeah.
Someone's going to go, right. They're going to go get my shopping cart of groceries and bring it to me. And that's true. I mean, that's there. I don't really think of gig economy, gig work in that way. I think of it in this way that we're talking about, of how can I use it to find really, specific skill set that I need in my business. In fact, that's how you and I first met, several years ago. You were a co-founder in a company. You were going out to raise, at the time, $60 million.
Yep.
Your board said, Mike, that's kind of a lot of money.
You might want a CFO.
You might want a CFO. someone might have a hard time writing you a check that size without a professional
How are you going to
CFO.
track all this? I've got a spreadsheet and a bank account.
Yeah.
So
I'll just check the bank account every day.
Bank reconciliation.
Yeah. And so I first came into that organization, on a kind of contract part-time basis to be your arm candy
too,
right? As we were shopping it around. What'd you say?
Sort of how you're ending it too, a contract part-time basis.
Yeah.
As one.
Very, very similar. So you can find some really interesting talent, even at a senior level in your organization, through a gig work type of arrangement.
Completely agree. I think it's an untapped resource, and for a lot of people, again, you can get such great talent because if you were to, hire a big stud like a big time CFO, what are you going to spend? $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 to get a big, or you can do it on a sliding scale, just as needed. Come on, as a startup, that sort of flexibility and negotiated terms like that. That's fantastic.
So where do you go to? What are the platforms you use to find gig work?
Oh gosh, I don't know if I use, at least for what we're talking about, I don't use that. You can see them on LinkedIn. Like I think about fractional CMOs or like growth expert kind of folks. I'm your chief sales officer or growth officer. Fractional. Or CFOs, I think there's quite a bit of that. That's a gig as old as time. I think the fractional CFO or controller types.
Yeah, we figured that out a long time ago.
Yeah, you guys figured that out a long time ago. But marketing now is kind of coming up for a lot of startups, or very mature companies that have never done maybe a digital presence or platform, and now recognizing, holy fuck, I need to do that. So I think they pop up more and more. I think they're out there. I don't go to any particular place. If I'm implementing something, so let's say what's the Fiverr is one that I've used in the past, Upwork, and so I've used those for the actual hiring, but not the top talent. Top talent usually finds you or you find them as you look around.
Yeah, and it's typically on LinkedIn. Yeah, that's been my experience too. So where does consulting, so I've kind of shit all over consulting.
Yep.
Where have you seen it work well?
So where I've seen it work well, I'm glad you asked that because I was just thinking when you were bitching forever about consultants. So maybe you want to call this a consultant or a vendor. So at our last healthcare company, we had a fantastic regulatory compliance outside the box consultant that made sure we did our shit properly. Really expensive. A lot of big ideas. Always wanted to scare the shit out of us like we were going to jail, right? Remember him? The Grim Reaper. With all the sort of cliches of how douchey consultants are, he wasn't like that, and he was worth the money because he kept you clean. He did his thing.
Well, he was doing the work too. He wasn't just
good point.
Throwing a 30-page deck at us and telling us good luck.
Well, he had the 30-page deck. Said, "I need you guys to do this so I can do my thing."
Yeah.
So I felt like, but he didn't come out of the Big Four. He wasn't he was.
But he came from
that industry, right? He came from CMS. He came from the
regulatory side of it, yeah.
So that regulatory experience and just know-how, that institutional knowledge was a perfect fit, and he dropped right in. So I think that's a really good positive consulting experience that I've been a part of. And he's the guy that gives you hope for all the future. I'm going to blow $100,000, $200,000 in the future because of my good experience with him on some bunch of douchebags in the future. Yeah. Guarantee that.
Right. Do you have an example where it hasn't worked?
Hasn't worked. Didn't think of this because I knew you were going to shit all over it.
Got an example of where consulting's falling apart. I'm not going to shit on that. I'll celebrate it. But yes, Mike, come to the dark side.
So there was a time in consulting when we were looking at a pricing strategy for a spirits line. We're looking for a booze line, and we brought in consultants, $250,000 to look at brand, positioning, pricing, and of course they said, redo everything.
Yeah, none of this is right.
None of this works. Redo all of this. You need to be positioned as the premium ultra luxe product and quadruple your price. Let us know how it goes. We did
Or for another 250 grand.
Yeah, for another.
We'll walk alongside you.
So you've hired them. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Not these particular ones, but yeah, I'm familiar.
Right. So we did that, and all the things you'd expect happened. Spent another $100,000 on rebrand. We positioned it right. We quadrupled it. Everybody bitched about the price. Sales didn't tank, but they flattened.
In dollars or units?
Both.
Both.
So not an awesome experience there. And here's the weird thing. To go back and correct it, you'd want to go hire another consultant, which they decided not to do. Mm-hmm. We're sort of there now.
Yeah. That's unfortunately a tale you hear all the time.
And oftentimes you find out, isn't it this for consultants too, where they propose such an idea that if you don't go all in on it, you can't be like half-assed. If you don't go all in on it, they will claim you can't be successful. Mm-hmm. So if you come back and bitch them, hey, this plan didn't work. I said, well, did you do all the steps I was telling you to do?
Mm-hmm. In the order in which I did.
Did you really commit yourself to Christ? Is he in your heart?
Prove it.
Prove it.
Yeah.
Because that's what the deck called for. That's what the plan called for. Having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, your Savior. It doesn't seem like he's here. He's not in this room. That's why it didn't work.
Yep. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Disprove it.
No, in these bigger organizations, a consultant's not going to come in and, even if you're doing everything right, they're not going to come in and tell you that. Oh yeah, you don't need us. You got it all figured out.
It's all nailed down.
They're going to come in and tell you something dramatically different than the status quo. That's where you're bringing them in. And so in big organizations, there is a lot of risk to doing a change like that, to making a pivot like that. And sometimes it's just the mitigation strategy is we're not going to do any of that. We're not going to do all of that. We're only going to do some of that because it's too risky to do what they told us to do.
Or even if you think you need to do it, let's come in and have the consultant. We'll pay the consultants $1 million to tell us that's the thing we need to do. Because if I say it, it's now on my head. Mm-hmm. Consultants say it. Well, I'm just doing what the consultant said.
Yeah. Board asked me to bring them in.
Yeah. We all stacked hands on it, right? Stacked hands. We all stacked hands on that plan. And that's actually a really clever Machiavellian way to hey, I want to get this done. I want to change this all back to recycled paper. If I mention it, they're going to bitch about the cost of recycled paper. But if I get a consultant to do it, yeah, that's it. That's the ticket, right? You get the consultants to suggest it, and then everybody gets behind it. Or not. Get behind it, however it works. They can be political cover and shit like that, right?
100%. One kind of piece of all of this that we haven't touched on, and maybe a good thing to close with, is whether it's consultant, advisor, mentor, when you look at background, experience, expertise, to what degree does education play? Formal education.
Formal education, little and less.
Yeah.
Little and less. Some of the dumbest people I know have PhDs. Some of the smartest people probably can't string, 2 sonnets together from Mr. Shakespeare.
Who?
Never ever heard of him? Bill Shakespeare?
Bill.
Yeah, Bill. You know Bill.
Yeah.
I think about formal education as it used to mean a hell of a lot more. It just doesn't today.
What about logos in formal education? So
say more about that. Logos.
Harvard versus University of Minnesota Moorhead.
So I'll just say this. If it's Harvard versus Moorhead, I'm thinking how important I'm equating the value in that to that Harvard education in the network and the connection, not the education.
Yeah, sure.
Mind you have to be bright and all the things to get in there. I just don't know how, when it really rubber meets the road inside of a business, it's people with grit, ambition, consistency. None of that shows up on a grade at university. It just doesn't show up that way. You can learn just about anything in about 10 minutes on YouTube. Yeah. Just about anything. And it's who's going to look for it, who's actually going to go do it, who's going to be excited, who's going to be bought in.
Yeah.
So formal education, I could give a shit.
Yeah.
Given my druthers, sure, I want the smartest, most educated person there, but it does not at all ensure success. at all.
I would agree with that. I think of it similarly, not just in managing a team or a company, but we look at it this way when we look at companies to invest into. Just a few days ago, we were in our weekly deal flow pitch meeting with the team, and one of our analysts was pitching a cyber company, which I was really interested in, was digging into. They were going through the founders. Both founders had gone to MIT, and the team was giving.
They couldn't get into Harvard?
They must not have. They just went to the technical school across the river. And the team was giving me shit that I liked it because they both went to MIT. And honestly, the reason why I fell in love with it, and the reason I really wanted, kind of identified or appreciated the founder story is it's a cyber company. One of them grew up professionally in the NSA. So,
proper. Okay.
Right. The other one was in military. Was an officer in military intelligence for the Army. They may know a thing or two about cyber.
They just
right. So it was more of that background than the logo of their MBA. Now, to your point of the network effect, how these two met was they were in the same cohort at their MBA program at MIT. So,
but that combo is dangerous. That real world experience and like those bona fides, they're like, oh boy, that's
you've
legit.
seen some shit in military intelligence and the NSA. Yeah.
That would be proper. I mean, if they would have went NSA and they went to University of Chicago or Emory or some other, you'd still probably pull the trigger. It happens. The MIT is the cherry on the top.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's it for this round of burn rate and bullshit.
Where the only thing we sugarcoat is our coffee. If you liked what you heard, great. If you didn't, even better. We're not here to make friends.
Hit subscribe, share with someone who needs a reality check.
And remember, cash burns fast, but bullshit burns faster. Don't get caught holding the match.
Send lawyers, guns, and money. This shit has hit the fan.